The time is now 4 p.m. This is the beginning of immediate unit number 5. We are back in the record. Please proceed.
Ms. Berry, I just have I think a few more questions. You mentioned before that you received paper statements for your cell phone. Is that right?
Not anymore, but I did.
Okay. Back in 2021, you received paper statements for your cell phone?
Yes, I don't read them, but I do.
Okay. So you don't have a practice of looking at your cell phone records?
No, just the amount that they want me to pay.
Okay. And you also never looked at Calvin's phone?
No, I don't need to.
Okay. So you had no idea that Calvin was communicating with via phone call and text message Sharon Brown multiple times alone in March of 2021?
No, I did not.
And you didn't know on March 10th, 2021, that he spent almost an hour speaking with Sharon Brown?
I didn't get that either.
I'm sorry. You did not know then that on March 10th of 2021, he spent almost an hour on the phone with Sharon Brown?
No, I did not.
Okay. I don't think I have any more questions at this time. Mr. Ortega?
I have no, you say I can't ask you a question.
Well, thank you, counsel. I just have a couple of questions. And I'll try to be brief considering everything you've gone through, Ms. Berry. Okay. With regards to your statement where you stated that the current state of events for you feels like ongoing torture, are you seeing any medical professional at this time to help you deal with what's going on?
Yes, I do see Miss Shaida.
And who is Miss Shaida?
She is with Dr. Tripp and Associates, and we meet once a week to discuss my state of mind, how I'm doing.
All right. And since the occurrence, or before the filing of the lawsuit, let me rephrase that. Since you put Calvin in the mausoleum, can you describe how things have escalated for you?
Okay. They put him in the mausoleum. At the graveside, they have family members who screaming out as if we did, as if my family did something to Calvin, telling about dream me, Calvin, dream me. We have his sister looking at you in all different formal ways, like she want to physically attack you. You have when we went to Miami, every section that we went to, she and two other cousins kept coming up behind us. When you look, she's writing different scenarios. Every minute is a different scenario of how Calvin died. I don't know if she did it, but her cousin sent a picture of a dead person burnt up to us, only to my daughters and myself, not to Michael or anybody else that we know of. There is a podcast every time there. Stay tuned for part 1, stay tuned for part 2, and they're describing us kind of ways, have pictures of our furniture, which I thought it was a common thing to get rid of your old furnitures, which you have from right after Hurricane Andrew. I thought that was okay for you to do, since you're not going to be living at that house and you're going to be staying with somebody. You have where she produced YouTube video telling people that Calvin did not need his heart surgery. Right, we know that she's suing the nursing home where her mom is. I don't know if she's going to be suing now the doctors that perform the surgery on Calvin for his heart. I don't know if where else she's going to go next. With talking bad about me, how I'm a black widow, how I kill Calvin, how I dose him with Benadryl. It's just a continued nightmare. You close your eyes, you see Calvin die. You close your eyes, you can't even mourn the loss of your husband. Now all of a sudden, we hear now that he had an affair with somebody that we don't even know who this person is. And you know how those things. Oh my God! I thought I was gonna die that day when you told me that who this lady was. I didn't know Calvin did that in a 3-year span with somebody. It's like she just digging. It's like you don't feel like you can't talk on the phone anymore. You can't text anymore. You can't even talk to somebody without you feeling that, okay, that person is trying to get information. Okay, this is going to be broadcast somewhere. You don't know anything. You're living a life in kind of fear. And this counselor is trying to help to build you back up, to take you off. Basically, you're on the ground crying. This counselor have to be trying now to bring you back up to a point in your life where you can function.
And let me ask you this question, Mrs. Berry. Michael Berry's mother, you knew that Calvin cheated on you with her, correct?
Correct. Okay. After we got married, I know that he cheated.
And you still decided to stay with him?
Yes.
Why?
Because there's something about Calvin that draws you to him. He's that kind of person. He even though he might say stuff to you, it's like you're connected with him. You love him. And I told his sister that I love him. Calvin is not just an ordinary person. I know she's disgracing him. What kind of love does she have for him? You're going to all his hard work that he have done. You're going to drag his name in the streets. But Calvin he's like, to me, he's like a special person.
And I understand.
36 years.
And I understand. And how would you describe your relationship with Dornette Mullings during the time period when you found out Calvin was cheating on you with Michael Berry's mother?
We were cordial to each other. I didn't really know her as much as somebody would want to know somebody. We were never fighting or anything like that. Calvin told me that she was the one who invited Maxine over, Michael's mom over, for Calvin because she didn't want me to be with Calvin. So she for me, I am thinking that she did that so that Calvin would go with her and not marry me, but she didn't realize that I wasn't sleeping with Calvin. We didn't sleep together until after we married. So she just messed up that poor girl's life, basically, because she thought Calvin would have left me for Maxine. But Donnet and I, we never have any issues. I was even there when her first husband beat her. I was there for her.
When you found out, let me ask you this question. Well, when you found out through Calvin that Dornette Mullings was the one who arranged their affair, what did you do to her?
Nothing.
And can I ask you why not?
because that's not my style. I am not that type of person. If Calvin had said to me, you know what, Tia, let's not get married. Let me go with Maxine. It would hurt me, but I would have said, okay, fine. You know, I'm not gonna come and do anything to anybody. That's not how I am. I stay to myself. So she doing that, I had nothing. I even talked with Maxine. We had nothing. We have never had an argument. Nothing.
Okay. And so you recently found out that Calvin was having another affair, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And through this legal process, you found out that her name is Sharon Brown, correct?
Correct.
All right. While Calvin was alive, and you've heard from Miss Mulling's counsel that they were having constant communication with each other. Did you ever have an altercation with Calvin regarding his relationship with Sharon Brown?
No, because I didn't know he were having any kind of relationship with her. Nothing. If Don had never dig it up, I would have never known. You could even ask that lady, Miss Sharon Brown, did we ever talk? Did I even know her? I did not know anything about it. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm really a blind person for him to be having an affair for 3 years and not realizing it.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you work on your marriage with Calvin to try to keep it together?
We were never going to be apart. There was nothing to work on. We were planning on downsizing the house so that we can get a smaller house. He even went as far as scout out a location where we'll be moving to.
So let me ask you this question since you brought up the house. What was the reason you sold that house right after Calvin passed away?
All right. So at the mausoleum, when all those people came to the house, I was not at the house. I was at the, what do you call that store, Burlington, because my family was here, and we decided that we were going to have a service for Calvin, but we all want to wear his favorite color, green. And all of a sudden, we get a phone call, you'd better come home because people is at the house. And when we came home, it was a swarm of people in his trees, cutting down things. You see them with machete, cutting down coconut, gone around the back, taking his fruits. And we are like, what is happening here? Nobody said anything to us that anybody is coming. And then they even cursing me out that how they come to my house and there was no food prepared for them. So I'm like, if I'm going to stay at this house, then how do I know if another set going to just come down on me again and it's me alone at this house? And I cannot stay there. I said, okay, Calvin was already planning on selling the house. Let's just go ahead and get that taken care of. So that will be one less thing for me to worry over about people coming and attacking me.
So selling the house, is it a fair statement to say that selling the house then was a new beginning for you?
It was a new beginning. Okay. We were going to downsize. I even said to Calvin, if it's even a 1-bedroom house that we get, it's fine with me. The grandkids can come over and they play and then go home to their family. That's how it was.
So it's not like... I didn't mean to interrupt you. You can finish your sentence.
Yeah, it's not like it's just something brand new just pop up in my head, but they make the situation more urgent for me to go ahead and say, no, I cannot stay like this. I cannot stay here because I don't know when they're going to swarm down on me and it's going to be me alone at this place with them. They have machete. That was intimidating for me.
On the night of Calvin's disappearance, what was your current, or strike that, during the night of Calvin's disappearance? Can you tell us if you had any issues with your health?
Yes, okay. I have two shoulders. That is no good. I bear the pain. I take a lot of Tylenol, arthritis medication. My rotator cuff, they're both torn. My knees, I have severe arthritis in my knees. In my back, there's arthritis. They're discs touching each other. What do you call them? Those, not spine. Vertebrae touching each other. It's all going up into my neck. I have the blood pressure, cholesterol, I'm anemic. So I have all these things where Calvin used to call me half a woman. That's what he used to call me.
So with regards to your shoulder ailment and your knees, are you able to lift heavy objects?
Not heavy. No, I can't even, when I do try to lift my granddaughter, I have to put her down so fast. I can't even go, okay, let's go from the bedroom to the living room. No.
Okay. So is it fair to say that if Calvin was passed out somewhere in the house, could you move him?
No.
Okay. In your opinion, do you feel Dornette Mullings hates you?
At this moment, yes, I do believe that.
Okay. To your knowledge, what would have driven her to have this kind of hatred towards you?
Objection calls for speculation.
You can answer.
Okay. I believe that when she did come to the house and look through those documents and didn't see her name, that's when it started. Because all these times she has never displayed any form of hatred. And then out of the clear blue sky, she just started all of a sudden. She never came to the best of my knowledge, she has never visited Calvin when he was in the hospital. When he had his surgery for his pacemaker, instead of coming down to visit him, she wanted to give him an air fryer. She sent me to the store to go get the air fryer. Calvin wished that she would have brought it to him herself. You know, I didn't give her any reason whatsoever to hate me.
Did
So
Ms. Mullings? Well, I didn't want to cut off your answer. You can go ahead and finish.
I don't know what else could have driven her now to hate me.
Okay. At any point after Calvin's body was discovered, did she ever sit down with you and talk to you about any other possible theories as to what may have happened to him?
No.
Okay.
She did not.
At any other point during the police investigation, did she ever try to talk to you about possibly any other theories as to what happened to him other than you murdering him?
No. She has never said anything else.
Okay. So, to your knowledge, since Calvin's body was discovered, she just targeted you?
Yes, myself and my two daughters, especially Christine.
Okay. And to your knowledge, do you know why she would be targeting your daughters?
Well, I know she never liked Christine. She slapped her once. She never cared for her.
And
But I
to
don't
your
know.
knowledge, do you know why she doesn't care for Christine?
No, I don't know why.
Okay. I have nothing further at this time, counsel.
Okay, I have some follow-up based on the questions your counsel just asked you. You mentioned that you're seeing Miss Shaida with Dr. Tripp and Associates. Do you recall telling your counsel that?
Yes.
Okay, when did you start seeing that counselor?
Back over in, I think it's November
November of what year?
last year. But before her, I did used to go to hospice, and I saw two counselors there at hospice back when Calvin first passed and a little bit after he passed.
Okay. So you were mentioning when Calvin's body was laid to rest in the mausoleum that folks were yelling at you. Do you recall that?
They were yelling at during the funeral.
During the funeral. Did Dornette Mullings yell at you?
Oh, she just kept screaming out, but why? But that I just counted up as being, knowing that your brother just passed.
Oh, but she wasn't saying anything about you killing your husband at Calvin Berry's funeral, right?
No, she was just looking at you like, I don't really want to say dirty, but not of somebody that said, okay, we just have a loved one pass. She was looking at you more like, and I don't want to go that strong and say enraged, but that's basically what it felt like. And that's when I know that something was off.
Okay, but you're not suing Dornette Mullings because she looked at you some type of way at her twin brother's funeral, right?
No.
And you're not suing Dornette Mullings because of her grieving at her husband's funeral. I mean, excuse me, at your husband's funeral.
No.
And so you mentioned that you had to sell the home because you felt uncomfortable there. You were at Burlington, you came back, and all these folks are there expecting dinner to be made or food to have been made, cutting down things with machetes. Was Dornette there?
Yes.
She was? Where was she?
She was mostly in her car.
Oh, so she wasn't actually in the house or displaying a machete or anything like that.
No.
And you mentioned that you believe, based on what Calvin told you, that Dornette basically set him and Maxine up.
Correct.
But Calvin Berry is a grown man at that time, right?
Yes.
No one can force him to have sex with another woman. That was his decision.
If the woman comes on to you, basically, then that would trigger something in you. And if you're not getting it, then, and that woman comes on to you, then yeah, that would be something.
That was his decision to make, right?
And hers.
When you say hers, you're not referring to Dornette Mullings, right?
No, but she paved the way.
By introducing two grown people, she
Not introducing. That's her friend.
Okay. So because they were somehow all in the same area, it's her fault that Calvin Berry cheated on you.
Well, according to what we found out now, yes.
And,
on that particular occasion.
right, because that's not the only time he cheated, right?
No.
Okay. You found out from a pastor later on that he had also cheated on you later in your marriage.
You said from where?
A pastor? A youth pastor? Did you learn from a youth pastor that came to your home that he told
No,
you?
not a you pastor. No, 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 no. You're mistaking me with my daughter.
Okay, so who told you that Calvin Berry was cheating on you a second time?
He did.
Okay. And that was while you were still in Miami?
While I was still in Miami?
And that second time, did he say Dornet had something to do with that too?
No.
You mentioned that Calvin was a special person, but you've also described him as controlling and as someone who would talk down to you.
Yes.
He even called you half a woman, you just said.
Yes, because of all the ailments I have.
But you still think he's a special person, and
yes, that's my Calvin. No matter what, he's still mine.
Your counsel asked you about your relationship with Dornet Mullings. You didn't mention the part that she actually hired you when you needed a job. Do you recall that?
Yeah, I already told him that, yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that today. Oh, go ahead.
No, not. You said my counselor, right?
Yes, Mr. Ortega just asked you about that.
Counselor. I thought you said counselor.
Oh, I did say counselor, and I'm not using it. I apologize. I am not talking about your sessions with your medical counselor.
Okay.
Referring to Mr. Ortega as your counsel, and I apologize for the confusion.
No. He didn't ask me that today. No. And she offered a job, and Calvin told me, yeah, go ahead and take it, because I didn't want to take it, but he says, yeah, go ahead and take it. So yes.
So the 2:53 a.m. call that occurred when Calvin was missing, you picked up the phone, no one said anything. Did you know that was Sharon Brown calling Calvin?
No, I did not know who it was.
Okay.
I know now because Mr. Ortega did tell me that's who she is.
And that night, when he went missing, did you think to look through his phone to see if he had relayed anything to anybody about where he would be or what he was doing?
I believe we did look through it.
Okay. Did you see several communications with Sharon Brown?
No.
Okay. Do you still have Calvin's phone?
Yes. It's still on. We still pay for it each month. It's not turned on, but it's still.
I understand. Connected to your. Yes, ma'am. So you said something that stood out to me. You said, how blind could I have been not to know that, my husband was cheating for years?
Yes.
Is it possible that you were blind to the fact that something happened to Calvin Berry other than him simply maybe falling into the canal and dying?
No, nothing has occurred to me of anything like that.
Okay. You mentioned that Calvin, when he was in the hospital for his defibrillator surgery, that Dornet Mullings did not go and visit him.
I said to the best of my knowledge.
Okay, but you also mentioned earlier that when he had that surgery, you were running around a lot. You had 3 different facilities to go to?
Right, that's why I said to the best of my knowledge.
Okay, so would it surprise you to know that she actually did visit her brother when you were not there?
I would not know. It would not. I don't know if she did or if she didn't. I just said to the best of my knowledge, because whenever time I visit him, I've never seen her there. So if she did, it's fine.
I think with that, I do not have any additional questions.
Okay.
I am. Let me rephrase that. At this time, I don't have any additional questions. I am reserving my right to, if necessary, redepose Ms. Berry based on any ruling from the court regarding her assertion of the Fifth Amendment privilege with respect to the documents we requested and several of the questions we posed today.
I'm supposed to answer?
No, that's just for the record, ma'am. And Mr. Ortega, do you have anything else?
No, counsel.
So I think we can, I plan to order. And then we can go off the record. Oh, and Oh, yes.
We'll go ahead and reserve our right to read. Mrs. Berry, what that basically means is that before the final record is produced, you'll have an opportunity to review your answers, and you'll have an opportunity to make any notations or changes to those answers if you feel that you didn't answer truthfully or correctly at that time, or something was misstated. And then that document will be handed over to the court reporter with your notations, and then a final product will be produced so that all of us can have a recording of this deposition.
And on the record, Mr. Ortega, are you ordering a copy of the transcript?
Yes, I am. Well, I mean, I think at this point, what we're gonna have to do is file a motion. I guess I don't know how that's gonna work functionally for you. If the judge rules that the video is excluded, then no. But if the judge rules, yeah, the video can be included, then yes, we would like a copy of it.
Okay. All right, we'll conclude today's depo. We're off the record at 4:31 p.m. and this concludes today's testimony given by Althea Berry. The total number of media units used was 5 and will be retained by Veritex Legal Solutions. Please stand by.